Merry Christmas, and welcome to my channel. And today I'm going to, I have a request. I have a request from Carol. Thank you, Carol, for your suggestion. My cheese straws, my very best cheese straws that I usually would make. It's nice and rich. Carol requested that I do a keto version or a gluten-free version of those cheese straws. So I developed a recipe and I came up with a pretty good recipe, which I'm going to share with you, and you can try it. Thanks again, Carol. So let's go to those ingredients and let's get some gluten-free cheese straws made. Okay guys, let's make the best gluten-free cheese straws there is on the planet. Let's go. And those ingredients are 2 sticks. We have 2 sticks, 2 8-ounce bricks of cheddar cheese here. I have them grated nice and fine. 1 egg. I'm going to use an egg because almond flour does not hold very well like the regular flour. So you need a binder. You need a binder for almond flour always. Margarine. I have a half a stick of margarine and a half a stick of butter. I am mixing this. I'm not all butter. I have the almond flour here. I have 1.5 cups of almond flour in this bowl here, and I have a 1/4 cup, a 1/3 cup of almond flour on the standby, just in case my dough does not come to the consistency I want. I can always add a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of that. So we have that on the side. For the seasonings, we'll have a half a teaspoon of black pepper or white pepper, a half a teaspoon, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and this is a half a teaspoon of turmeric. I like the vibrant color. Cayenne pepper for some heat. I have a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and I have a 1/8 teaspoon of salt. Your cheese is already has some salt in it, so you don't need to put too much salt in it. And I have a tablespoon of mustard to give it a little zing. So we're going to combine all these ingredients. We're going to get the stand mixer, and we're going to do all this in the stand mixer. So let's get the stand mixer ready, and I'll be back. The stand mixer is fitted with the paddle attachment. So we're adding the cheese now. I'm going to add my grated cheese. Two 8-ounce bricks of grated cheddar. Get it all in there. To this, we're going to add the margarine and the butter. Half a stick of margarine, half a stick of butter going in. And this we're going to mix. We're going to beat this until it's nice and fluffy. So let's get started. Start on a low speed, and then we'll just increase the speed as it mixes in. I'll be back. Okay, I just wanted to stop it and scrape down the edges just to make sure that everything is getting incorporated properly. So whilst we crank this up to a higher speed and continue the mixing process for the cheese and the butter, we're going to put our dry ingredients together. So let's go to a 4 and get that done. Okay. Now for our dry ingredients, I forgot to tell you I'm adding some baking powder in here. In my regular flour mixture, I do not put any baking powder in there, and it comes out wonderful. But with the almond flour, it does not have any gluten and would not puff. So in order to keep it nice and loose and moist and puffed a little bit, but add a little bit of baking powder in there, just a half of a teaspoon. And we have the black pepper or the white pepper, 1/4 teaspoon, some garlic powder for some flavor, turmeric for some color, cayenne pepper for some heat, and salt for more flavor. And we're going to whisk this together. I have the mustard here still, along with the egg. These are going to go in once the butter and the cheese. Once the butter and the cheese are well blended in, I'm going to add that and give it a mix so that those can go in and enhance the flavor. So let me get a whisk and we'll whisk this together and wait until our cheese and butter is ready. Let's get this all mixed in. Good. I'll be back. Our cheese and egg is doing pretty good. I'll just add the mustard in right now. And the egg. So they can come together. And we stop and scrape the sides down again in a minute. Now that my cheese is nicely blended into the cheese, my butter is nicely blended into the cheese, I'm going to introduce the almond flour mixture and let it take its time. Start on a slow speed. I'll put it in like half and half. I'll put a half in now, let it work, and then put another half of the dry mixture in. Bring up the speed. Let that get nicely incorporated. Slow it down, add the other half of the flour mixture. An almond flour mixture, I should say. Can't forget we're using almond flour, and this is a gluten-free cheese straw. So let that work for a minute, and then we'll scrape the sides down, see what texture, what consistency we have, if we need some more almond flour or not, and we'll go from there. I'll be back. Consistency looks fine to me, so let's check on that. See the little bit that's on here? you touch it, it should not stick to your finger. Your finger should come away clean from that, and that's the consistency you want. It should not stick to your finger, and even if you take a little bit up, you should be able to roll it into a ball like that, and it's not, you know, messing your hand up. So you know you're in a good consistency there. So we'll find a piping bag and go ahead and pipe some out, and we're baking at 350 for about 12 minutes. So I'll be back. So I placed in a piping bag, I placed the batter in a piping bag, fixed with a medium tip, and we're going to just pipe it out in short bursts. Oven is preheating, 350. And we're going to bake these for 12 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes. So these are gluten-free cheese straws made with almond flour. So I'm going to go ahead and finish piping, and then we'll put them in the oven. So here are the almond flour cheese straws that we made. Very first time, very first recipe that I have developed, and this is the result. Now, a few things happen here, but every time you do a first recipe, there got to be maybe some flaws. Okay, it did not stay in shape as a cheese straw should. It flattened out, and that could be because of the it needed more flour, either because it needed more flour or because of the margarine that I put in there. Now, margarine has a lot of oil, or it could have been the baking powder. So it's like three different things that could have caused it not to stay in shape as it should. So this is why you have to test your recipes maybe 3 times or more. I usually test recipes like several times before I really put it out there. But at this one, I wanted to explain to you why these things could happen, why and how you can correct them. So the next one, but these are delicious. They're delicious. They're not something that doesn't taste well. You just did not get the shape. The color is fantastic. The taste is great. It's cheesy. It's nutty. It's fantastic. But it's just not a straw kind of a shape. It's maybe like a cookie or a biscuit, an almond cheese biscuit. But hey, you can change the name, and your guests will still enjoy them. But they're still gluten-free. and low carb, and they're low in calories, so, and low in carbohydrates and low calorie. So, but developing the recipe will take some time and maybe 2 or 3 tries before you get it perfectly like a cheese straw should look like. But you know, but once it's delicious and it tastes great, you don't have a problem with that. Just change the name. Just change the name, and you have a delectable item there. You know, so I can't stop eating them. So it's a low carb almond flour cheese straws. That's what we were trying to make. But we came out with an almond flour cheese cookie or cheese biscuit. It just flattened out. And that's about it. But other than that, it's delicious. So, we'll keep working on it. It's a work in progress. We'll keep working on it. And it's going to be delicious. But if your style or your shape or whatever is not the same, you can work on it until you can get. So, there are a few things. You can add more flour to it. Same recipe, but just add an extra cup of flour. And that's going to make it a little more sturdy, and this will hold the shape in the oven. Use the butter only, no margarine, just butter, because apparently the margarine, the almond flour does not really, because almond flour probably has its oils from the almond nut already in there, and that along with the margarine can just make it just, you know, spread open. So that's why you have to add some more flour to it. But we'll add some flour in the next try. We'll just add some more flour, and we'll just use butter only, and add an extra cup of almond flour, and we'll see how it comes out. So that will be my next try. But right now, you do this recipe with a little extra flour. It's delicious. It's fantastic. It's cheesy. It's nutty. It's great. Okay? So, low carb, cheese straws, cheese crackers, cheese biscuits. You have something for your guests for the holidays. Okay? So, I'll see you in the next clip. The test kitchen is open.